Meta burned down its entire AI stack and rebuilt it from scratch. This is what came out of the ashes, called as Muse Spark, and that is what we are going to cover in this video. This is Fahad Mirza and I welcome you to the channel. Llama is very near and dear to my heart, so much so that you can see that the logo on my channel is this llama which is coming out of the flames, and it is very apt for this video. 9 months ago, after Llama 4 underdelivered, Meta did something unusual. They didn't iterate, they started over. New architecture, new data pipelines, new infrastructure, and they brought in Alexander Wong from Scale AI to lead it. The result is Muse Spark, the first model from Meta Superintelligence Labs. It is natively multimodal, it reasons, it uses tools, and it now powers Meta AI across WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, reaching over 3 billion users every day. Today, we are going to look at what it can actually do. We are going to test it out. I will be telling you all about its features and then a good news towards the end of the video. So please make sure you stay till the end. Before I even test it, there is something I wanted to show you. Look at these benchmarks. Muse Spark is going head to head with heavyweights. Opus 4.6, Gemini 3.1 Pro, which was just released, GPT 5.4, and Grok 4.2. On health benchmarks, it is absolutely dominating. Health bench hard at 42.8, while Gemini just sits at 20 and Opus just at 14. Multimodal reasoning again has done wonderfully well. Multi-agent parallel reasoning setup and frontier science research jumps to 38.3. The pre-training efficiency they also have shown, let me very quickly show you that, is also quite insightful, I would say. And then if you look at this RL training curves, they are clean and predictable, exactly what you want to see when a lab claims they have rebuilt their stack from the ground up. Okay, I think enough talk, let's test it out. I'm going to use this meta.ai. I will drop the link in video's description, it is available there. So let's get the ball rolling. So for the first test, we are going to give this Muse Spark 5 medical images at once, chest x-rays, microscopy slides, and a blood report, and asking it to connect the dots across all of them like a real clinician would. This is exactly the kind of multimodal health reasoning Meta claims is their biggest strength. So my prompt would be this. Now a disclaimer, this is just an AI generated images, nothing to do with the reality. We are just testing it out just to see how much reasoning it can do and if it can correlate these. Okay, so let's run this. It is running. Let's wait for it to come back and we will check the response. There you go. And now we have the response. Now, to be very fair, I think it has done quite well. So these were the images which were given. As you can see, it did actually read and describe all the 5 images correctly. So if I show you chest x-ray, histopathology, microscopy, blood lab report, and then it has read them correctly, extracted the lab values, and also then laid out a solid framework for how a clinician would correlate these findings. Now, the best thing which I like about it is that it is talking about limitations too. You see, I can't identify because these are AI generated. Again, diagnosis requires a full slide perfectly well, and there is no context, so it is also saying if changes are real or artifact. And if you come down here, you see it says if these are real patient images, please have them reviewed urgently. So this sort of refusal is conservative, but the underlying medical knowledge it has demonstrated in explaining each modality is genuinely solid. I would say very impressive. For the next test, I'm going to do this coding one, which is going to ask it to create a self-contained HTML file to build a stunning space shooter game with a lot of visual stuff, enemies, and it is going to do this complete in a single HTML file. So I'm going to run this and then I will show you once it finishes it, and you can see the speed. While it does that, If you remember, yesterday I showed you this clip where I was showing you my own home setup where I am using these UPerfect monitors, which have become a core part of my daily AI workflow. So, for example, when you're running model inference on one screen, writing code on another, and monitoring GPU stats at the same time, screen real estate isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, as you can see on my monitors. UPerfect builds portable, high quality monitors, as you can see on this screen, that don't compromise on display quality. And for anyone doing serious AI work, content creation, or just needing that extra screen with portability and customization on very, very attractive prices, I would suggest them seriously. So please check out their range at the link in video's description. I think they are genuinely useful kit. And meanwhile, Meta has created this code, which if I just, so this is a source code. If you click on it on the right hand side, this is a preview. I will open it in the browser here and I'm just clicking on it. Nothing is happening. I'm even pressing spacebar, arrow keys, nothing is happening. And I'm showing you as is. I will tell it or I'll ask it how to play this as pressing spacebar or arrows or mouse clicks isn't doing anything. And I'll just give it this shot, that's it. Okay, so the code cut off. Anyway, I will let it do it again and we will check out last attempt. And there you go. This time it looks much, much better. As you can see, it is even telling us why it didn't work before. So I'll just open it here in the browser and let me move my arrow keys. Yes, left and right are moving fine. I'll just go here, spacebar. Oh wow, this is so good. I'm actually enjoying it. This is so retro. There you go. So I'm just moving along pretty hard too, and I'm missing most of them as usual. And do you see in the middle? This is also quite good. There you go. Wow, I got killed. Anyways, and it also, displays the score at the top left with the waves. Beta has done wonderfully well, really seriously. Okay, let's try out few more. And now let's do a multimodality test. So I'm going to give it these two flags. As you can see that these are very similar, almost identical flags, same colors, same design. So I'm going to ask the same from model that tell me everything distinguishes them, which countries they belong to, the historical origin of each flag, why they ended up so similar, and if you were dropped in a city with no other context, what visual or cultural clues would help you figure out. And by the way, I'll also give you a hint. These are from two of my most favorite countries after Australia. So left one and right one. So let's run this. Let's see what model does here. There you go. So yeah, exactly. Image one, red over white, is Indonesia. Image two is Poland. And then absolutely, this is literally just flipped versions of each other. And then it is also giving me this historical origin, which is spot on, because this similarity is basically coincidence of history. Indonesia's derives from the flag of Majapahit Empire, while Poland color from its medieval coat of arms, a white eagle on red. They evolved completely independently and then just happened to land on the same two colors inverted. And then you see that why they ended up so similar. Pure coincidence. Dye available. And then now it is talking about those other cities, like it is, talking about Bahasa Indonesian signs, Latin alphabet. This is what model is going to do. Currency. So all the information about Indonesia is correct. And these warungs and nasi goreng, I know. So, but if you are from Indonesia, no need to confirm because I already know about it. And this is the Poland one. Um, Looks quite good. I have never been to Poland, so if you're from Poland, please confirm what do you think. Looks good to me. currency is, how do you spell, how do you pronounce it? Please let me know in the comments. Okay, beautiful. Nice. Sorry, I just started reading it. It looks pretty cool. And look at this. The dead giveaway is this: Indonesia is red sky, white ground. Poland is white snow, red blood. You'll never mix them up, okay? So, this is a trick which it has given me. Good stuff. Let's do a multilingual test. Okay, this should be a fun one. So, this is a prompt which I'm giving to the model. So we are stress testing Muse Spark across 80 languages in one single prompt. So there is a beautiful and powerful princess who has opened her palace to suitors from across the entire world. She asks every candidate the same question in English, like, you have traveled far to win my heart. Tell me what is the most extraordinary thing about you, and why should I choose you above all others? And I'll just say, answer it in very, very short one sentence, so that we don't really spend too much time. And then model has to respond to her question in all of these languages. Like, oh, sorry, I'll just keep each response to one sentence. I just want to make it quick. So these are all the candidates from English, from Southeast Asia, from Europe, Africa, South Asia, and then we also have a gibberish. For gibberish, I have just given it a twist that for gibberish candidate, she is a girl who somehow received an invitation and has shown up anyway, hoping the princess might be interested in her. Her response should be enthusiastic, hopeful, and completely unintelligible gibberish. So let's run this. You know, okay, so I will let it print, and then if you are the, native speaker, please put it in the comments. What do you think? And so English is there, so it has even given it a name. Look at this, a bold bard, like Mandarin silk scholar. I carry a heart, and then all this stuff. Already I can tell that the language is so cohesive, so coherent, so fluid. So I will just scroll down, and you can tell me what do you think. The poetic Raja, by the way. And moonlight. So French says standard Arabic, desert falcon. Okay, this is going to take a bit of a time for me to read. Urdu is ghazal charmer. And Indonesian archipelago sailor. Wow. Stoic romantic. I'm not reading all of them, sorry. I'll just scroll down, I'll read it later. So these are sort of responses which, when you want to come back and read them, I think this is what tells you the quality of the model. Even the regional one, you see, in India, this is really good. Sahil Griot. Wow, very nice. This is so good. But please tell me, what do you think about the actual translations here? You know what? This is such a good. It's Sraiki is a very, you know, I won't say it's a low resource because there are so many people who speak it, but it is a regional language in desert area, remote area of Pakistan. And the name of desert is Cholistan, and it has got it right. Anyway, the Nordic Scald. I'm just scrolling down. Nusantara Putis. It's a new capital of Indonesia, by the way. The steppe falcon, so good. The Baltic Scald. I'm not sure what is Scald. I'll check later. So look, I think it has done wonderfully well. The hopeful gate crasher. You see, I think I should break the pen now. The model has done very well. So for the final test, what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine the deep scientific reasoning in one prompt. So I'm just going to change it to thinking. And the prompt is this, where we are combining this live web search with this reasoning, and it has to find real current research, evaluate its credibility, and then do original physics calculations on top of it. So this is Muse Spark's agentic and reasoning capabilities being tested simultaneously under real world conditions. So let's wait for it to produce something, and then we will check it out. You can already see that the tools are being used. Meanwhile, please feel free to follow me on X when it loads. There you go. So I regularly post AI updates, so it also helps. And again, goes without saying to become a member of the channel. And please like and subscribe the video and hype it if you like. The model has come back with a response, and I believe it is 10 out of 10. It found two real 2025 preprints, distinguished their different physics, did the transmission efficiency calculation, as you can see here, what the community disputes. There you go. And this calculation is step by step with actual HVDC figures, and was even honest about what hasn't been replicated. It didn't hallucinate a convenient answer. It flagged the 2023 retraction scandal as context, and it separated the theoretical ceiling from engineering reality. You can pause the video and even read it out. I think the model has done wonderfully well. Now, this is exactly what a research grade AI assistant should look like, in my humble opinion. Not just answering the question, but knowing where the science ends and the speculation begins. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for all the support.